Què tal, gent? Ja estic aquí. Doncs tot funciona i ahir ens vam quedar amb el Calvin, no? Vam fer l'aventura, diguéssim, la història de la Molly i la història del Calvin, que va ser molt més curta que la de Molly. Seguim, doncs. Amb el joc ja us vaig dir que ahir em va flipar. Ai, l'esquena, oi? Aquesta... Espero tenia els ajustos retocats per intentar fer streaming de Warzone, al qual vaig desistir totalment i ara faig Warzone des de la Play 4. Així que es veia fatal tot d'això i he pujat amb aquest joc, me'l tira sobrat tot el processador i la gràfica, així que l'he pujat una miqueta perquè vaig veure que es veia fatal. Som-hi, no? Seguim amb l'aventureta? Vinga, veus? Vam acabar el Calvin. Però també havia obert una porta.
Edie roped off Calvin's half of the room. Mom said Grandpa Sam enlisted at 18 and never set foot in the room again.
Clar, aquests són els avis d'ella. Però la Edie està viva, no? Ara m'he perdut una miqueta. Ei, podem seguir per aquí? No, jo havia obert una porta per aquí darrere. Hòstia. Perdó. Això està segellat. A més és que és molt friqui perquè està com segellat amb espuma, no? És la casa més misteriosa que he vist mai.
The passages were a pretty tight fit. They'd obviously been built for smaller hands and bellies.
Què fem? Milton. Aquest es va morir.
Growing up, I always thought of Barbara as a child star.
És molt friqui, També està assajallada. Bigfoot. Aquí ens trobarem la història de la Bàrbara, que està aquí.
Of
Barbara
all the
Finch.
stories people wrote about Barbara's death, I'm surprised Edie saved this one.
Uf.
Old Jack here with another ghastly tale inspired by America's most unfortunate family. I'm calling it The Surprise Ending of Barbara Finch. As a child star, Barbara was famous for her scream. Now at 16, she was all washed up, a has-been. But in a lucky break, she'd been asked to perform her signature scream at a local convention for monster movie fans. It was just the boost her career needed. Unfortunately, her scream hadn't aged well.
Getting better. I think you just need the right motivation.
Her biggest fan and current boyfriend, Rick, was about to demonstrate when...
Now that was a great scream.
It was Barbara's father, Sven. He'd slipped into a table saw and had to be rushed to the emergency room. So Barbara got stuck babysitting her youngest brother, Walter. Her convention comeback was cancelled.
Okay, I'm hearing frustration, but I'm not hearing terror. What if I tried...
A gang of hoodlums in Halloween masks have been terrorizing Orcas Island tonight. Police are urging residents to...
That came from the basement.
You're right! Also, I loved your delivery on that. Why is your basement door locked?
Because my dad likes making puzzles and secret passages. There's a key hidden in the music box. The secret is to keep winding and winding until finally the key pops out.
Thanks, babe. I'll be back in a sec.
20 minutes later, Rick hadn't returned. So Barbara went to look for him, right on cue. She reached for the music box. And as she wound the key, she listened for Rick, but the house was silent.
Que brutal la música.
She found Rick's crutch and imagined the worst.
The gang's leader is the infamous Hookman killer, Dr. Carl Hamill, who impaled and then ate his family 10 years ago tonight.
The old fridge rattled and grew still.
Oh dear!
I was just trying to scare you to help you find your scream.
Well, I'm not scared, Rick. I'm furious.
Then act furious. All I'm getting from you now is that you're hurt and confused and you're...
She threw him out, but she kept a little something to remember him by.
Barb, have you seen my other crutch?
And she was still holding it when she fell asleep watching the late picture show. Hours later...
Barbara! Walter, what's going on up there? Ah! Okay, I'm coming up, but if this is a trick, you're dead, Walter.
Walter had vanished, but his bedside radio was still on.
Orcas Island police describe the man as 6 feet tall, with a steel hook for a hand. Residents are urged to lock all doors and windows and notify the police of any suspicious activity.
Barbara turned, saw the hook man, and was speechless. He was quite smashing. And he was. He couldn't get enough of Barbara.
Okay, Barbara, there's gotta be another way out of here.
That night, she played her part beautifully. Molly's door hadn't been opened in years. The hinges groaned. He wasn't moving, but she sensed the story might not be over yet. The hookman had vanished. She listened for his breathing, but all she heard was... Someone at the door was dying to speak to young Barbara. At the door, she heard whispering. It was coming from inside the house.
Oh dear.
The monsters had come to surprise her. For Barbara, it was a dream come true. Then she saw what kind of monsters they were, and she realized what was about to happen. She was going to be famous. And with her final breath, Barbara Finch gave the performance of her life. I wasn't there myself, but I hear Barbara was magnificent. Poor girl. She had a taste for stardom. But unfortunately, So did her fans. Of course, the police blamed it all on poor Rick, who disappeared the same night. And little Walter? Hiding under his bed the whole time. He took it all pretty hard. But that's another story. As for Barbara, tucked inside the music box is all they ever found of her. Her ear. Now that's what I call a real eerie tale.
Edie told me all Barbara wanted was to be remembered, as absurd as that comic was. Maybe what Edie saw was a happy ending.
Bueno, era un Tales from the Crypt, no? Brutal, m'ha semblat brutal. M'ha semblat brutal. Uf. I ara què? Per aquí no podem sortir. El tal Walter ho
I
haurà
guess
tot.
now I know why Mom didn't like me playing with the music box. Edie's father, Odin, built the original house. Whenever people ask me about my family, the first thing they always want to know about is Barbara.
What's up? Per què sento passos?
It's funny. All those times I played with the music box and never found the basement key.
Va, anem. És veritat, no me'n recordava. Per què va tan lent? Ups. Miedito. El taller de l'Sven.
Mom said the basement was off limits, unless I wanted another tetanus shot.
Clar. Mira, estava fent un altre drac. Tot fa pinta de coses de terror o de misteri i al final són
I saw
coses...
Edie sneak down to the basement once, carrying packages. I thought maybe she was hiding presents. It turned out she was hiding a lot more than that.
What? Hòstia.
I remember asking Mom once about where Walter had gone. She said after Barbara died, he got as far away as he could. If there's a pattern in all these stories, I think it's that none of us has gotten very far.
Walter. Ui, tenia una maqueta de trens. Anem a explorar primer, mira-te'l. Què, però va viure aquí? No me jodas, tio, en sèrio? S'ha pintat una... Tio, tot és superxungo.
Goodbye, everyone. I can't believe I've been down here for 30 years. On that first day, after the shaking started, I didn't think I'd survive a week. But after a few days, I settled into a routine. That's what kept me sane. Having a schedule.
I els
living for
temblores?
today.
Què són?
I always expected to be dead tomorrow. But
A
if
les
you wait
12,
long
mira.
enough, you get used to anything. Even a monster on the other side of the door starts to feel normal. Almost friendly.
Aquest
And then
capítol
one
va...
day, everything just stopped. Whatever that thing was, it was gone. Maybe it got tired of waiting. Or maybe I just got tired of being afraid. It's been a week now, the longest in 30 years. I'm done waiting. I have to leave. Well, I still can.
El que sabem és que el Walter mor el 2005 i estem al 2005. No m'he visitat amb la data. Tailàndia, Rússia, Brasil, Índia, París... No he estat mai a París, haig d'anar a París. He estat a molts llocs i a París no. Que està aquí al costat, doncs... Ai, un moment. L'he liat. Un segon. Per què no veig el xat? Vista. Aquí. Aquí. Venga. Tornem. Uau, el Walter, xaval. He baixat per aquí, vale.
I know it's out there, somewhere. Whatever killed Barbara. And Molly.
Molly també?
And Calvin.
What the fuck, en sèrio? Això és merda, no? O sigui, això és el que he gastat. Hem de tirar a la paret. Vinga.
Maybe this is all a mistake. But I need to stop living the same day. Even if it kills me.
El
whatever's
What
out
the-
there, I want you to know I'm ready for it. I'm going to appreciate all of it, especially the food. I don't mind if I only have a year left, or a month, or a single week. I'd be happy with one new day. I can already imagine the sun on my face.
Wow.
Walter died when I was 6. I can't believe my mom never told me he was down here.
Fricades, no, tios? Falta el Sam, no? Ens falta el Sam. I ara per on
I'm
seguim?
sure my mom was trying to protect
Seguim
me.
per aquí. És molt friqui que la casa està plena de llibres, tio. És que al final no saps si això és real o
Maybe
no és
she was
real.
afraid I'd end up like Walter.
No? És com... I si tot això s'ho està
But if
imaginant
she
ella
never
o...
told me about an uncle under the house, I can only imagine what else she was hiding.
O
I
que
don't
tot
want to
això...
make the same mistakes she made. Trying to bury something that's still alive. Now that there's only one of us left, or maybe 2, I thought it was time I heard the stories for myself and found out what happened to everyone else. But now I'm worried the stories themselves might be the problem. Maybe we believed so much in a family curse, we made it real.
Saps què estava pensant, no? Algo simbòlic, rotllo... The House of Haunted Hill,
I don't know
no?
if I should even be writing this.
Però que a la casa queden moltes coses encara.
Maybe it'd be better if all this just died with me.
Ei,
But I thought you should know about your family.
que devies. O sigui, això ho està
And the
explicant.
history you're a part of.
A qui li estàs explicant això, xata?
Though to be honest, I feel as lost as you probably do right now. I think the people in these stories believed them, for what that's worth.
Casa friki. Tornem a la casa.
And when you look at the house, that history of imagination and stubbornness and madness, any of it seems possible.
Vinga. No? Per aquí no? Per aquí tampoc, doncs.
I think we've been surrounded by death for so long, we've just gotten used to it. What kind of family finishes building a cemetery before starting the house? It's embarrassing for me to admit this, but the pet cemetery made me more uncomfortable than the human one. 3 of the gerbils were mine, and 2 had been my fault.
Daisy, Charlie, Coco, Zoe, Chirpy, Furpy, Lurpy, Purpy, Durpy, Durpy Jr., Bailey, Olivier, Bob.
Sven built the house, but it was Edie who designed the cemetery.
Qui és Edie, la primera? Amb l'Sven. Molly. Tio, però és que tot... Ah, la Edie és la dels llibres. Walter. Ostres. Bestial. Totes tenen això? No. Un que volia volar, l'altre que no sé... Bàrbara.
I'm sure Odin's monument had been Edie's idea. My mom was always trying to move on, but for Edie, the past never went away. She could see it poking out of the water at low tide.
Ja deia jo que es veia alguna allà. No va? Ah, vale.
Edie said she dreamed about the old house every night.
Ah. I ara què? Tornem.
Edie's side was always easier for me to understand. But the older I get, the more I can see where my mom was coming from. Her dad had been pretty strict, but it wasn't enough to save her brothers. She was just trying to do better.
Gus, Gregory, Sam. Ens falta aquest. Gus, Gregory...
She lost 2 of her brothers, just like I did. I get why she tried so hard to protect us. There's so many things I wish I could ask my mom now. Part of me thinks this is what she wanted all along. For me to come back someday and find everything out for myself.
Això és el que em fa dubtar de moltes coses, no, del joc. Que és ella la que ha de tornar aquí a descobrir totes aquestes coses. És com que potser ella s'ha mort o alguna cosa, no?
But looking back on it now,
Uah, que guai seria tenir una casa
if
de
she told
l'arbre,
me there
tio.
was going to be so much climbing, I
Oof.
never would have come when I was 22 weeks pregnant.
Tenim una... Oh. No, home, no. una nova Finch a la família, no? Ens acaba de xivar.
I never met Grandpa Sam, but I think he and my mom had a lot in common.
Vinga, que toca el Sam. Cap dins. Hòstia, de moment hi ha un os aquí.
They were both pretty intense.
Uou. Viatges...
Instead of hiding from death, Sam seemed to go out of his way to meet it.
Militar... Caçador... La història està allà, ja ho he vist, però sempre faig una volteta. Kai. Una oca.
Sam spent his life shooting photos, but Mom said he got nervous being in front of the camera. I guess we're all afraid of something.
Totes les medalles. Vinga. Tòpic, no? Que el militar es digui Sam.
Dawn, I promise, you'll never forget this weekend.
Yes, sir.
These memories are gonna last a lifetime.
Hmm? What? Am I gonna have to shoot anything?
It's a hunting trip, Dawn. Perfect.
It's gonna rain the whole weekend, isn't it? I will never forget this weekend, Dad.
That's the spirit. Okay, got it.
I'm gonna take some pictures, okay?
Just be careful. That camera's older than you are.
Aw. You're right, Dad. It's starting to clear up. Still freezing, though.
La foto més tonta que he fet a la meva vida. Si no enfoca... Ja està, no? Ai, merda. M'he equivocat de botó. Abans no es podia fer això, ara no passa res, però quan tenies un carret de 24 o de 36, això era €1 a la paperera, No enfoca res més, no veig res més. O ell. Un bastó ja? Dius que queden? O com va això? Hòstia, no entenc res. Puc moure més. No. Què és aquest soroll? Vent. No sé què pretén. No veig res, tio. Ai. M'estic equivocant de botó tota l'estona.
Should not have drunk all that coffee.
coneixen.
Hold still while I take a...
Hey!
That's a keeper.
I'm just saying, I'm not always gonna be here, Don. You'll need to remember this stuff, if you want to survive.
I'll be fine, Dad.
You know who else thought he was gonna be fine?
Some guy who died.
Don, I'm being serious.
I know, Dad. You're always serious. Doesn't being out here make you want to chill out?
Well, to tell you the truth, I haven't been out here in 20 years. Last time I was with my brother Calvin. Man, that was a great trip. Your grandpa Sven taught us how to fish, how to build a fire. We found an old logging trail. There were deer everywhere. I bet if I could remember where that trail was, we'd spot a buck for you in no time.
Una merda
Give me a
foto,
minute
no?
to check the map.
Ei,
Dad!
Good eyes, Don.
bona foto.
Before you take the shot, let me get a picture of you.
On estàs?
Dad,
Què fas?
Just breathe. Turn off your imagination. Let me get behind you.
do I have to do this?
Don, you don't have to do anything. But if you want to survive, you'll need to be strong. Now keep yourself squared up. Great shot, Don!
Bah.
I'm proud of you, Don. Always remember that, okay?
No, no, no se li oblidarà mai, no? La merda que acabes de fer.
Sorry, Don. Just gotta reset the timer.
Que bo. Som-hi.
Dad, it's twitching. I think
That's
it's
totally
sick.
normal, Don. Just focus on the camera. Try not to think about...
Dad!
Of all these stories, that's the one I wish most that my mom had told me.
M'he anat d'olla, no? Hòstia, no hi ha història que no em quedi així. Per què no et plegues? Hola. Hola. No tinc suficient estora. Joder. Bueno, era mig idiota, vull dir, què voleu? I ara què? Bona. I ara què? Puc sortir per aquí? Ah, sempre hi ha un passadís secret en aquesta casa. Quina por, no? Fer cases on hi ha doble casa.
After Sam died, my mom and Edie got really close. They'd both lost a lot.
Però tots els passadissos estan fets com pels nens, no? O sigui, hi ha joguines, ja no només és la mida, sinó que... Ah, Gregory. Vinga, un altre drama. Hòstia, no me jodas, Un any... Jo tinc un fill d'un any, tio, no em toquis els collons. Ja vaig jugar a That Dragon Cancer quan el meu fill gran tenia un any i em vaig cagar amb Déu.
I can't imagine my mom ever writing poetry, and yet
I aquest en tenia res. Gust, no, hòstia puta, quin drama, tio. Aviam, anem a mirar una miqueta per aquí, a veure què passa. Mira, per escalar. Ui. No, 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 no,
my
no,
mom
no,
moved up
no,
to
no,
the
no.
loft after her brothers died. At the time, it was as far away as she could get.
La mare de la Edith és la Dawn i els seus dos germans van morir. Aviam, aviam. Era la gran. Va, a merda. Jordi Solo, moltes gràcies per seguir-nos. Què m'està semblant? Bona pregunta. Brutal. Brutal. No, vaig molt desconcertat perquè no sabia res del joc. Hi ha jocs que no he jugat, feia temps que tenia però que no havia jugat i que tothom deia que era la bomba però havia mantingut... aconsegueixo mantenir el marge. Tinc una anècdota amb Los Otros, la pel·li de Amenábar, la vaig veure amb VHS llogada i no sabia res. I clar, vaig flipar. Vaig dir, hòstia, l'hauria d'haver vist al cine, però... Doncs això vaig una mica així, no? Ara ja et tinc controlat. Doncs vaig una mica així. Vaig totalment desconcertat. No sé si estic jugant un Go Home, si estic jugant un Firewatch, si estic jugant I com que el joc barreja moltes coses, no? És com... Hi ha alguna esotèric, hi ha alguna... Un divorci? Hòstia, no. Ui, m'he equivocat. No sé, hi ha com misteri, hi ha com no sé què, però al final tot no hi ha cap misteri, simplement... Això sí, si tot això és cert, doncs... Família de la muerte, o sigui, sembla un House of Haunted Hill, això. Clar, jo he jugat a molts jocs d'aquests, que et volen explicar coses amb simbologia, i llavors millor ja m'estic fent olles de que
Dear
potser...
Kay, do you remember the way Gregory used to laugh when he thought he was alone? Like something funny was happening, but only he could see it. I think he saw things the rest of us don't.
Gregory, it's time to... Hold on.
No.
Hello? Sam, I told you I don't want to talk right now.
I wonder what he saw.
No vull que s'ofegui la banyera, tio, no fotem. Sí, és que, l'estava explicant, és que vaig jugar a Dragon Cancer perquè el vaig haver d'analitzar pel màster de disseny de videojocs. Serà un joc increïble, però... Hòstia, just el vaig haver de jugar quan el meu fill gran tenia un any i mig. I el nen que agafa el càncer té un any i mig. I ja, hòstia, volia morir, tio. O sigui... I ara aquesta mandanga que té un any, que el meu petit té un any, saps? No sé què haig de fer. Tenim la piloteta, no sé. La lletra? Aquí hi ha una B. Els pares estan discutint. Els pares d'aquests són... Un moment, el Sam i la Kay. Un moment. Deixem de fer l'imbècil. Van cap a la dreta. Coi.
Whatever it was he saw.
Bueno, aviam. M'estic cagant amb tot perquè sabem el que passarà, no? Però... imaginar-te que el meu fill d'un any fa això a la banyera, doncs m'està encantant, no? S'han de tirar les lletres. Dolent soc amb aquests jocs, tio. Tardo el triple perquè sóc un inútil rematat. Què posa? Bé.
I know how silly it sounds. But I worried about a baby being too happy.
Hòstia, no me jodas,
Slipping away.
Sorry about that, Gregory.
I know you did everything you could. Maybe if I hadn't called that night.
Damn it. Hold on, I don't want Gregory to hear this.
Ai, coi, no hi penso. Oh.
I wish he could have told us about the world he saw. There's so much I don't understand about Gregory, about everything. But I know what happened.
Ai, perdona, no t'havia llegit. Estava aquí metido.
I'm sure he's happy. And he'd want you to be happy too. Good luck, Kay. Love, Sam.
Tio, o sea, no he vist una família amb més desgràcies a la meva vida. Insisteixo, se sembla... Venga, otro. Venga, festival.
A poem for Gus, who always said the wedding was a bad idea. Our father never hit us kids, at least not very hard, before the day my brother said with teenage disregard that he'd be dead before he'd see a wedding in our yard.
Ai. Hòstia, que dolent soc. A la realitat també soc molt dolent amb això. No hi ha manera de fer volar cometes, tio. És un complet idiota. En sèrio, en un dia d'una boda ha de palmar un nen? Hòstia, aneu a la merda, tio, en sèrio. Està al revés, això, tio. Que ho haig de girar. Això és indiscutible, O sigui, ja m'està semblant massa bèstia tot, però les mecàniques de tot això em sembla brutal.
My father made him come, of course, but Gus stood far apart, just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart.
Sí, he vist algun xadó, sí. Puto drama, tio.
I tried to talk him out of it, but though he'd never met her, we don't need a stepmom, were the words that I
now
remembered.
pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride.
Que li fotem a la madrastra, no? No la volem. No, no funciona així. Cap aquí. Vinga. Aquí. Va, què me
When the
cuentas?
time for photos came, Dad ordered him to come here. But Gus declined, and as a sign held up his middle finger. The wind picked up, and panicked geese appeared and quickly went. But all the humans did that day was go inside the tent.
Està plovent, no? Torment o llamp, tio. No me jodas, hombre.
The rain came down in buckets then, but no one seemed afraid that nature might destroy the tent our dad had crudely made.
Hòstia, l'estic liant, tinc una dislèxia brutal aquí, Per favor. Llamp, tio.
The thunder sounded much too close and full of angry power. But all my father said to this was, "Make the music louder." I wish that I could truly say I thought about you on that day. Out there on the beach alone, just you, the wind, the sea, and foam. But I didn't. Until we found you.
Hòstia,
She
tio.
never talked about him, but Mom told me once if I was a boy, they were going to name me Gus.
Per favor, prou de drames, tio. Que es morin de vells. Que un Sant Pere gloriós. Vinga, va. És que s'ha acabat, no? Els putos nens. 92-2003. I aquest, Déu-n'hi-do. Joder, macho. Vinga. No hi ha mai un rocòdrom, noia? Què passa? Ah, la mama. La mama? Que hippie, no? Bueno, sí, hippie de veritat, que és cristiana. Down and Sanjay. Ah. Se volvió a casar amb un indi. Ah, bueno. Pues mira, està tot al voltant, però la Índia no està tot. Encara no. Oh, què és això? Aquest mouse és d'un Macintosh LC2, No, Classic 2, perdó. LC2 és el que tenia jo.
Religion was another thing my mom never talked about, but I think it helped her a lot after her dad died.
Ja és que ni me'n recordo, tio. D'aquí l'ha palmat, què?
She spent a summer building houses in Calcutta, where she met my dad, Sanjay.
Ah?
My mom moved to India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English. Louis was born a year later.
No puc caure, no? Cap a dalt o cap a baix? Cap a dalt.
When my dad died, I don't think Mom knew where else to go.
Your dad, o sigui, el Sanjay també.
I'm sure Edie was happy to have her back.
Down, tot mort. Aquí tenia les seves plantetes. Milton.
And to see kids in the house again.
Sí, se li mor a l'Indy, també, i torna a casa amb la Eddie, que és l'àvia. No, tu, la besàvia, tio. Sí, la... No està massa clar, això, però bueno.
The house had to get a little bigger, but Edie was used to that. And for a while, things were good. Almost normal.
L'escola, tu. Fact or fiction? Molt bé, no? Això ho foten molt allà.
But it didn't last.
Un portàtil, nano. To teach and to learn. Down Finch. Hòstia. 7 ways to create a fulfilling classroom. La petita són nosaltres, no? 99, sí. Observation, question, research, hypothesis, experiment, data, conclusion.
The beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle.
El mouse ha anat a la merda. Cap a dalt. Cap a dalt. Hòstia, encara queda. Anem. Milton, aquí no podem entrar. Almenys per aquí.
After Milton disappeared, the only thing he left behind was a room full of paintings.
Drama. Hòstia, un moment. Podeu deixar de massacrar-me de whatsapps? Perdón? Moment, Què està passant amb el Barça? S'han fotut 2 gols? Quin desastre, penya. És una mica Life is Strange, Les pintures semblen les del joc, no? O sigui, les de la portada del joc. No, aquesta no. Però això, aquest rotllito, sí, no? Hòstia. Fas la maqueta, l'observes i fas aquests dibuixos superguapos. Tinc molts col·legues dibuixant. Albert Vivó, entre ells, un crac absolut. Això és un far. Aquí el tenim. Quin bon lloc per pintar, per cert. Vinga, som-hi.
Milton Finch in The Magic Paintbrush.
Hòstia, que bo. Tornem-hi. Una porta? Què es fa de veritat? Ja està.
I was 4 when Milton disappeared.
Obrir una porta i xau. Bueno, és aquest m'ha agradat més. És tan bèstia. Bueno, ja, o sigui, va desaparèixer, però jo pensava que ara la podríem trobar a la porta.
Mom spent months searching for my brother. Then she sealed the doors.
Mira-la. És aquesta porta.
Whatever
Deixa
Milton
agarrar.
had found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out.
Hòstia, em flipa això, tio. No.
Mom definitely blamed Edie, but I think Lewis blamed himself.
Això és un festival,
After he graduated, he just spent more and more time in his room. Until Mom got him a job at the cannery.
Ah, sí. El Lewis. És el de les llaunes de salmó, no? Anem per aquí. No. Desapareix. No diu que mori. Sí, cert. Però era com mig maco, no? Ficat a la seva imaginació, pinta la porta i... Voilà. Una porta que en certs moments molts ens agradaria poder pintar, no? En certs moments. Però després poder tornar a entrar, No fotem.
Lewis's room smelled very, very familiar. That part of him lived on.
A la xixa o... Ah, vale. Aquest li fotia canya a la marihuana. Amic. Té els dos botonets a dreta i esquerra de la Play. A veure... Down, Poetry, Recital, High School Diploma. No diu per què.
Lewis and I spent a lot of time playing games together, but he was surprisingly bad at them. He died a lot.
Com jo. Si veieu els directes de Katana Zero... Uf. Li foties a la marihuana... amic. Uf. Mira la Índia.
He was so proud of being Indian. I think for him, it was a way to be something other than just a Finch.
Hòstia, amic, és que ser un Finch és una putada. Lewis Finch, aquí al festival. Era streamer. Els cascos són inalàmbrics. Llaunetes de Monster. No, això és abans, Són pel·lis o són jocs? Oliver Twist. Trust Me. CDs. Una bola per fer abdominals. O parir. Dos figures xungues. El mouse és el meu, tio. Flipo. Hi ha coses que no... Aquests mouse no hi havia quan hi havia CDs, Està gamer total. Doble pantalla. Les meves pantalles antigues no la podeu veure, però està aquí. Que eren 4 terços. Encara en tinc una. Són personatges, no? Això són figuretes, rotllo... Diablo. Què coi? Porto penjant. Som-hi. Una carteta de la mama. Ups, ja comencem.
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Lewis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Lewis first noticed the monotony of his daily life. He kept working at the cannery.
Ojo, ojo, ojo. Ojo, ojo. Que se'ns acumula la feina.
In our sessions, I saw the same behavior. His mind began to wander. I asked him to describe it. He said he started small. Imagining a labyrinth. He'd feel his way about. Then something moved. Bats.
Tira.
And toads.
Hòstia, estava pa allà total, Bueno... Hòstia. Hòstia, que d'aquí no sortim. Adiós.
And things that have not names.
Solta el peix.
He knew it was all in his head.
Està un dungeon.
But he took it very seriously. I had hoped
estava
he'd
allà.
find himself.
Estàs el cucu. Això acaba amb un diablo. Ui, li he fotut amb el cap.
But he found something more. I worried about him then. Daydreaming at the cannery. I spoke with his boss. But he said Lewis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused. But like a whole new Lewis.
Per què no el soltes? Ai, no li té del cap. Fota-li, home. Tira per baix.
So I let him go on.
Ah, vale, puc fer això amb el mouse i això amb el...
I even encouraged him. It seemed very promising at first. He told me he'd made a new friend.
No puc anar aquí.
On the edge of a city he named Lewis Topia.
Age of Empires.
He built the city up slowly, brick by brick. Then he made musicians.
Que no falti la música a la meva ciutat de Age of Empires. No, sí, és que pensava que només havia de fer... O sigui, que havia de fer el mateix moviment i no, amb un has de caminar, amb el teclat camino i amb el mouse faig això. Pensava que els dos era el mateix i la dificultat era que havies de fer el mateix a la vegada. No, el mouse va suelto.
He talked about starting a band. And he was always humming.
Suposo que si el peix no avança, la història tampoc.
Every day his imagination grew stronger.
No, això ja és un
He no
imperi.
longer spoke at the cannery. But his chopping was as reliable as ever. Then one day it struck him
Ai,
that all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination, so he could do whatever he wished.
un escenari
He
una
held
mica...
an election for mayor. And he won. They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him. He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on. New Louisville.
Vaig jugar-ne, no? Fluixa.
St. Louis. He started drifting away from our reality. Minneapolis, until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery. Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Lewis kept sailing on.
Quin mal rei, tio. Aquest se li va anar a pinça, però...
In Lewisburg, he heard rumors of a handsome queen.
Agafa el llobarro.
The queen was on her own quest for sinister serpents.
Cachis la mar. Ah, no fan res. Va, conya. Ui, gira.
He followed the sound of her
No, sitar, que mola el sitar.
electric sitar.
Vamos. Agafa el llobarro.
His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon. Even then, his logic remained sound. He knew the world was all in his imagination.
Hostia, estás cucu, pero cucu,
But he
cucu,
was so
nene.
proud of having created it. In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king. For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming. And then it struck him that the real Lewis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace.
Ah, clar, que...
My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him. He began to forget the world we know.
Huh. Una 2 de ese.
I think it pained him to remember Lewis, the cannery worker.
Hòstia, quina pudor fer això, no?
He began to despise the man with a royal contempt.
Ah, és ell? Sóc jo? Ui, està cucu, està cucu.
I still thought I could save him. Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder. The palace would be packed with his companions.
Això acabarà malament.
Including the wise Calico who'd insisted on inviting him. His queen waited, holding his crown. There was only one thing left to do. Bend down his head. And the rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
My brother was really cool. I wish you could have met him.
Però si la va palmar el 2010. I tu no, i tu és del 99. Sí que el paio es va fotre el cap sota la guillotina dels peixos, no? Voilà. Bueno,
On the way back from Lewis's funeral, my mom told me to start packing.
Ah, vale. Com?
She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie. I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder.
Ens queda l'Adam, la Eddie i la Odin. Si això acabarà passant. I Odin, perdó. No ho sé.
I wish we'd stayed.
Marshmallows.
But I understand why we left. My mom ended up leaving everything behind. What happened that night had been coming for a long time. Maybe it should have come sooner. But it had to end one way or another. All that's left now is to tell you about that last night.
Som-hi.
That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
"To our final night together, and all our final nights apart."
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
The power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles. When my mom sailed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance. Or that Edie had a key to it.
That thing you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house. Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories!
Un segon. Que crec que el criu m'està plorant. Sí. Vale, no passa res. Ja està. Perdó, m'he perdut cap aquí. Un llit?
I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight. We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning. Okay?
aquest botó. Ja, a dormir ja? Quina hora és, tio? Se m'ha anat a pinçar. 11:10, és tardet. Sí, jo crec que l'acabo avui. Bueno, té tota la pinta. Bona nit, Jordi. Moltes gràcies per seguir-nos, moltes gràcies per estar aquí en directe. I a reveure, ens anem llegint per Twitter. M'està encantant, ja aviso.
Dear Edith, there's so
Bona nit.
many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born. That night, the tide went way, way out.
Anem a la casa antiga.
It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground. There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean. They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years. God, it smelled awful. You know, I've seen that house every day of my life. But I never thought I'd go back to it. When the fog rolled in, I lost my way. I got turned around. I started seeing things. Things I'd forgotten had ever existed. But when I saw them, they felt like old friends. That night, a lot of things came back to me. Or maybe I came back to them. Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it! Let go! I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car. I never saw Great-Grandma Edie again.
Bisabuela Eddie.
The next
Tenia raó.
morning, the band came to pick her up, but she was already gone.
Voy.
After that, we moved around a lot. We both tried to make the best of it.
Anunci de BBV. Bueno. Nit sense dormir.
A few years went by.
Crios.
My mom didn't like to talk about it. But she started getting sick a lot. The rest happened pretty quickly.
Joder.
She got better for a while, and then she didn't. And then I was alone. The last Finch left alive. Until I found out about you.
Lewis.
I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this. If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes.
com jo ara, perquè estic així.
Appreciate how strange and brief all of this is. This journal was supposed to be for you. But now I hope you'll never see it. I just want to meet you and tell you all these stories myself. But I guess if you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way.
Hòstia. És pel nen que surts, no? I ella...
This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
Però no sabem què va passar la nit que va néixer ella. Anda. Totalment, tio. Quina desgràcia de família. Està bé això dels crèdits així. Enginyer, estudiant. Com no? Mira, l'àudio està molt bé. Ara sí que sí, bona nit. Bona nit, crac. Si jo fos el nen aniria fent el testament totalment, em queden 3 dies. Si alguna animalada em passarà, no? Bueno, la història és una mica bèstia. És a dir, una mica irreal inclús, no? Que la família sigui justament... Però com està explicat, les mecàniques, em sembla un juegazo descomunal. L'hauria d'haver jugat abans, que aquesta és una bona conclusió. Un joc que fa temps que no jugues, o que fa temps que has de jugar i no jugues, i quan el jugues dius l'hauria d'haver jugat abans, és que el joc és bo. Annapurna. Aquests no tenen... Currat des de la porra. Neil Druckmann. Para. Dino Piatti. Lucas Pope. Hòstia. tirar cap a dalt? El joc l'han catat supercracs tots. The end. Molt bé. Selecciona a Edith Finch para jugar desde el principio. No tornaré a jugar, no m'agrada. Però aquí falta Odin, no? Bueno, família, fins aquí el directe d'això. M'ha encantat. M'ha encantat tenir-lo per aquí el Jordi. M'ha encantat el joc. M'ha encantat que l'última empanteta que em faltava la fes el Tia Violi, el Sebastià. Un joc espectacular. Però sí que la família, Déu-n'hi-do, Déu-n'hi-do, la família... Hi ha hagut moments duríssims, sobretot el Gregory, Però bueno, hem fet el cor fort. Bona nit, família. Molt content d'haver jugat a What Remains of Edith Finch, que el tenia molt pendent. Fins la propera.